Adeshima by Mama Kwaba Eba GHTV so every trending issues are editing him our internet and so no and I de so internet highway no so IP so neso de edit na edi ehwe and I de so GHTV what yanka our Facebook and YouTube www.cghtv.com and so a website meeting SC Janwa Dazin.
Doc, Honorable Kennedy Agyapong bet me a running mate at the Ahmad Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na. Now, about the size of BB side possible. Or no, obey to me the BB at the Abba table, no so. I be brighten the fortunes of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia political.
Well, I cannot say it emphatically, but me, because I'm mayor and my toes, if I have to actually speculate, I think that Bawumia as a candidate may not even feel comfortable with Kennedy Agyapong. I don't know their working relationships, but if you look at the character, the personalities, I don't think that's possible. Even Bawumia, I offered that Napukra, it looks like there's a struggle from Bawumia camp, let alone Kennedy Agyapong. What? It can't, I don't foresee it. You need to have a candidate that you feel confident that they will not upstage you, that they would not actually say things that you do not have, they do not have approval of. As a character of Kennedy Agyapong, he's rich. He is, people call him Maverick, all right? He has certain traits. Bawumia cannot, in 1 week, stand the traits of Kennedy Agyapong. You see, they can have a working relationship, all right, but I'm telling you, with the character of Kennedy Agyapong, they will not travel far. I'll give you a typical example what transpired between Rollins and Aka in Seke. All right?
Yes.
Coincidence and Aka.
Yeah.
They were completely very, what do you call, poles apart. All right. Now, eventually what transpired? They were in a relationship of convenience, political arrangement. But the relationship because they were poles apart. You see. So it will be very, very tough. If they can find a working relationship, it's possible. But I think that it will be extremely tough for Bawumia.
Okay. Eti, how can they manage? They referring to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Honorable Ken.
Manage in terms of what?
In terms of Ghana, the supporters, for them to get the understanding. It be an answer. It be no my or my say the echo and still apology. So meanwhile, candidate in so they understand the so bring you all on board.
Now I think that Kennedy needs to call for a wider consultation amongst the bases. Of course, he's taken the step already, but he still needs to meet them and then give them the basis on which he took that decision and how he's going to advance the working relationship that he's now forming with his base with Ofeda Bawumia. And there must be a clear kind of rules of engagement, especially coming from Bawumia camp as well. All right, because certainly, look, Kennedy would make some demands, especially even within the campaigns. There will be campaigns are very tense, and it would bring a lot of temperament challenges. At some point, if they don't specify in business, we call it SLA, all right, service level agreement. If they don't specify certain agreement about how much he can say, how much he cannot say, what do you have to do, who is he supposed to refer to, defer to, etc. If they don't spell out those things, Kennedy can actually bring them, problems, because obviously, he doesn't actually need, permission of people as you look at his characteristics, all right? He doesn't need permission from people to speak. And at some point, if he's actually going off tangent to the campaigner, how do you bring him home? Those things must be ironed out. You see, when I heard him say he's joined Bawumia Kumase, my first thought was, has he had a meeting with the basis? Because there was a sharp contract. There was it was a love loss between the two camps. Only to hear that he's been accosted by Nibes. Why did he go and join it? Now he's explaining himself. I'm saying, so would you take such a decision without a recourse to your base? Really? I want to change them political strategy. Look, when you look, Sanders, when after the Democrat elections, primaries, Bernie Sanders had to meet Ninkofo basis to to have a conversation about whether they join Hillary or they join the other team, or any team. This is orientation. So, Charlie, as an it just looks like you're going to have an HPP. I don't think he adds a lot to Bawumia's campaign. He rather takes a lot out of it.
But Edianson Ebema as a leader, no new man anymore. Otu Kwai, no US. And shadows in the Koba and say, okay, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, course, and Tomantem. The Abreno son of Babedru Gan, Obedru Yana, no. Na, and Tiso Kofiumpo, the next available flight. And all the Koko Shiaomo, and Kumase Airport. Na, and no, joining the team. Okoba and one trana toso of course the next available platform obenya ene na chita afo akasa your birthday obe celebrate when inviting the chita afo or the nsem e dia to omenim na wa apologize to them and no is he not showing some remorse enya dia oka bibi dia chira chita afo no as to among who said they were involved of the team it is oka bibi.
That's what we call reactionary. Reactionary. Leadership, true leadership, on your reactionary leadership. And you're proactive. You anticipate. Decision he didn't take it one day or by whim, so it had been a planned thing. He wouldn't just go travel and then nobody was the Bawumia campaign to Bedouin. No, he would have thought about it. He would have actually, looked at it. There could have been about 2-3 days interval. Now, who basis, are they not any, people who are figureheads, with the basis? There are. Internet said, them decision, and these days, full technology, Zoom or phone or text message or WhatsApp or even social media. Can't you just send a message and tell your bases there's a strategic decision to be taken into? You would require some people to meet. Those days Ghana system near close no. These days there are so many ways of getting in touch. And to me use the modern as a ruse. There are ways of doing some of these things. And as I say. And so for me, he demonstrates typical characteristics of some of our leadership. One certain tact, strategy, orientation, respect for ordinary people. One fan Ghana for leaders and I find them no one behavior. One fan nipan because I wait to my for a single-handed decision there when people had sacrificed one future, political future to back you. We show when there they are completely against Bawumia. Then you carry yourself and go and join that catch and one join him. Is that how you do it?
But Prof, internal wranglings are so when it comes to a intra party. Sir, no, because can internally and election internally na
they haven't questioned that. Look, every globally, every internal fight, every internal party leadership, or you better look what happened in recent Republican, very very bitter. All right, no internal fight is bloodier than national one.
That's right. Yes.
And I make sure that to solve it, we use incremental approach. Is that I say? Because you have been sharp-tongued. I can somehow for leadership one I can be to come back to say that I am MPP. You are fantastically right. I don't disagree with that in any way. I think that is the best way you can do it. So long as you haven't actually said that if you MPP mono, is that I say. You can only support an MPP candidate, whether in the quiet or in the open. Is that I say. If you decide to do it in the open, because of in some paper, which you can never say there, you just concocted it. Every bit of it to you was the truth. to you was the thing that the reality as you saw it in Sasase. Now, how do you eat it back? Has to be a strategic, gradual process. In Sasase. Now, say, all of a sudden, OBS there is no way you can take Bawumia as a candidate for him to win an election. All of a sudden, I mean, how do you actually juxtapose the two? What are you trying to tell Abeje Chifuno? There are ways that you can do it so that it doesn't look too sharp, it doesn't look too abrupt, and it doesn't look too fake. And that's what I say. And then I make about strategy. There's a strategic way of doing this so that you can iron out the differences and then gradually seep into
Ghana there. I done so every big man had the one. As a boy, my basso. Near who said, or mine at the pa, then the pana one, or classroom, and crown no name and this in a BPU. Or no, the names of a gun and near cry. I buy a bonnet hoka, walk classroom say, then teacher named the other channel, ye, not any faso dear man on watch that. That's my mind point to you. And into them, for buy our also. So mine, ye be as a demo to say, gallop investment, yeah, and my good resource. Now, Sabri, ye more free, do na to making kind echo when him, do na woman to me, and kuntabu echo when him, do na woman to me, a year creative arts, one more to me, a year critical thinking robotics, echo anymore. Ye same cry. Now, ye bimpo and kahon. One penny, His Excellency, Nana Danko Kufuado, in the report on my State of the Nation address can say, if 2017, and the Pimp and Pensua away, obey President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Vice. Investment out there, Umesium Kuano, 129 billion cities. Now, no, in fact, Ghana for the one and Amanone for a boost from Eddie, my opinion for me, and said, one more active Umesianse. Fact, one who said, and yet, Umesia Hombra, and yet Kakeke na obo, name a investment and a ya, and move emphasis diano, Ebian Hunine Hunuchina, as in few noon few do it. A big pager, may they make us a listen, may they be bigger cry and fan to one. And Nami UNESCO, or Paris, conference, na Minister for Education in Finland, a bit in China. My report, I'm in my, and in fact, no ever impressed by Finland. Finland is one of the leading countries at Banu Museum, and near teacher for no one to Tia, or more cool when in part, and they were impressed with the Ghana, and all because the choir Ghana fascinating. South China, and one more fast, a brow, say, one independence, a free Russia, I hope. Some 100 years ago. They are also a relatively new nation. Now, so when independence, no, they were a very poor country. No money. Now, so in whom strategy I won't fire. And then they did more, pager, a bedroom pen, so I bo a man, my won't a the Finland, the Sana, so then, so yeah.